Many great plants can add color to the mid and late summer garden, including the beautiful yellow flowers of black-eyed Susan, found in the genus Rudbeckia. The common name for this genus, which is coneflower, is also applied to several other plant groups, including Echinacea, Ratibida, and Coreopsis, reminding us of the oftentimes confusing nature of plant common names. Rudbeckia is a great group of plants, all native to North America, consisting of annuals, biennials, and perennials. A popular annual species, Rudbeckia hirta, often simply called black-eyed Susan, can be identified from the perennial species by the abundance of bristly hairs found on its stems, on the undersides of the leaves, and the flower heads. This makes sense since in Latin, hirta means rough or hairy. But the beautiful showy flowers are what attract gardeners. Flowering begins about mid-June and continues until plants are killed by frost. Flowers range from 3 to 6 inches in width, in shades of yellow, orange, rust, and mahogany, with bicolor and double types available. Look for attractive cultivars including cherry brandy, the first cherry red flowered Rudbeckia, Indian summer, with yellow gold petals and a dark eye, or Irish eyes, with yellow gold petals and a green eye. Another unusual cultivar is Sonora, with 5-inch wide bicolor flowers in mahogany red and yellow. Or finally look for Toto, with yellow gold flowers and a dark eye, but it's a dwarf, only reaching a height of 8 to 10 inches. Rudbeckia hirta does best in full sun and well-drained soil and tolerates dry conditions well. Avoid overhead irrigation to prevent fungal leaf diseases. Although some plants may survive Nebraska's winter conditions for a few years, Rudbeckia hirta is best treated as an annual. However, plants usually reseed themselves in the garden, resulting in a fun mix of flower colors and forms that will differ from the original hybrid parents. The most widely planted perennial species, Rudbeckia fulgida, is commonly known as orange coneflower. It thrives in full sun or light shade with well-drained soil, even in Nebraska's hot, humid summers. Plants form clumps, thanks to their rhizomatous roots, and are prolific bloomers from midsummer through fall. Goldstrum is the most popular cultivar, with dark green foliage that lacks the bristly hairs of Rudbeckia hirta. The foliage contrasts beautifully with 3 to 4 inch wide, deep yellow flowers surrounding a nearly black eye. Goldstrum reaches a height of 18 to 30 inches. The genus Salvia also includes both annual and perennial plants that can add great color and texture to the mid to late summer garden. Annual species of Salvia include Salvia coccinea, which are typically 1 to 3 feet tall with scarlet flowers. A common cultivar within this group includes Ladium red, which has scarlet flowers and is great in containers. Another annual species of Salvia is Salvia farinaceae, which are typically 1 to 2 feet tall with purple or lavender flowers. One of the most common cultivars within this species is called Victoria, which has tall spikes of intense violet blue flowers and is very showy in a perennial planting. Some species of salvia have hairy leaves that make a great foliage contrast in the garden. Silver salvia, or Salvia argentea, has very large woolly leaves that grow in a rosette form. The foliage resembles hairy rhubarb leaves and are very soft and attractive. However, silver sage is only hardy to zone 6 and should be treated as an annual since it will not survive Nebraska's winters. Look for perennial salvias in the species sylvestris. These plants will survive Nebraska's winters, typically being hardy to zone 4. Such species include Cardona, East Friesland, and Maine Night, which are all great additions to a perennial garden. A final plant to consider for color in the mid to late summer garden is a plant that gets off to a very late start in the spring, and that's perennial hibiscus. The genus Hibiscus contains over 200 species that are mainly tropical and subtropical in their growing requirements. However, there is one species, Hibiscus moscutus, which is hardy to zone 5 and will survive Nebraska winters. Plants emerge late in spring, but once they get going, they're vigorous and robust. typically reaching 4 to 5 feet in height. Plants grow best in full sun and need additional watering if conditions are dry. Foliage is typically a medium green, and the leaves are oval to land-shaped from 4 to 10 inches in length. The flowers are large, often 4 to 5 inches or more across, typically in white, rose, or pink colors. Good cultivars to look for include the Disco series, which feature more compact habits and are a good addition to a smaller garden. This includes Disco Belle, Disco Rosy Red, and Disco White. Pink Clouds is another great cultivar growing 4 to 5 feet tall with maple-like foliage and large 10 to 12 inch diameter pink flowers. And finally, Copper King is an outstanding cultivar introduced by the Fleming brothers of Lincoln, Nebraska. It grows about 4 feet tall with copper-colored foliage. The flowers are white with a pink tinge and a large splotch of red in the center. All of these great plants will benefit from deadheading as the flowers fade. Salvia can be trimmed back after the initial spring flowers have faded, and you will be rewarded with additional flowers later in the summer and fall.